When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
Welcome back. Nicky Pellegrino was born in Liverpool, England, but spent her childhood holidaying in southern Italy. Now living in Auckland with her husband, 2 dogs and 2 horses, she hoards her holiday time so she can return to Italy any chance she can get. Nicky's books have been translated into 12 different languages, and her latest, Under Italian Skies, is out now. Welcome, Nicky. Pleasure to have you on the cafe.
Thank you for having me.
Let's set up by starting off with what this book is all about. Under Italian Skies. It sounds beautiful. What's the book about?
So it's about a Londoner called Stella who hits a bit of a rocky patch in her life, and she decides to take some time out and she does a house swap, which is a bit of a thing now, where you just basically trade your house for someone else's. And she swaps for a house in southern Italy, and gradually she gets to know the owner of the house via email and just through his stuff and meeting his friends and going to his favourite cafes, and she starts to fall in love with his life.
The thing I liked about this book is that it's the house that she swaps for is Villa Rosa, which is a house that is featured in a number of your other books. So you bring in characters from other books into this in the background.
And part of that is actually practical. It's a house that belongs to one of my father's cousins and we get to stay there for free. It makes research a bit more doable. But I also like the idea of this house where no one stays for long, and it's the background for lots of different stories. So it's been in, I think, about 4 different books so far, and it's this beautiful house, and it really is exactly like that in real life. I haven't made it up. It's got beautiful terrace gardens down to the sea, and it's near this beautiful village. The village in my book is called Triento, but in real life it's called Maratea. And you can go there.
That's what I was saying. The village that if you tried to find Triento, you'd be struggling because it doesn't exist, does it?
No, and so I sort of fictionalised it because I wanted to be able to add in, do a bit of creative town planning and add some bits in,
Well, that looks beautiful just looking at those pictures. This is going to make people want a house swap, isn't it? To go back to Italy or just even sample it.
And it's not something that I've done, but actually a friend of mine was doing it as I wrote the book, so that was great. It was vicarious research. But it sounded fantastic. But you are very much living in someone else's space, and it's a weird way to get to know someone.
It's kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about midlife changes, this book as well, isn't it? New beginnings.
Yeah, well, I'm really rubbish at change, personally, in my own life, but sometimes change is just forced on you. So Stella works for a fashion label, and her boss dies and the label's closed down. She was perfectly happy with her life, but suddenly it comes to an end. And so it's an exploration, really, of what happens after that and how you can find a new path, and how change is actually not that difficult. It's just a matter of realising it's time and making it happen.
And what triggers the ideas for the books for you, Nicky?
Sometimes just something somebody says to me while sitting on a sofa. It's all sorts of little things, honestly. Sometimes I do get to go to Italy to research it, but I didn't for this book.
Right.
So often how I'm feeling, or you'll have a bit of a girly night and everyone will be talking about their deepest personal feelings, and you'll go, oh, that's interesting. So lots of different little things. Do you want to tell me about your deepest personal feelings?
Well, I was just going to say, Nicky's friends, just be careful what you say, otherwise it could end up in a book. So what brought you to Auckland then? I mean, Italy looks fantastic. Wouldn't you rather be there? I mean, no disrespect to Auckland.
Oh, I fell in love with a New Zealander. I had a holiday romance, actually. And we'd spent like 5 weeks together, and I moved over here to sort of see how it worked out, and that was 22 years ago.
It worked pretty well then.
Yeah, well, I've still got him.
You obviously have a real passion, though, for Italian food, because throughout your books there are a lot of pages dedicated to describing food, creating food, recipes for food. I think you should put out a cookbook.
I'd love to, but I think there's a lot of brilliant cookbooks out there, and I'm not sure the world needs mine.
Well, you stick the recipes in the back of your novels then.
I might do that, because my father was he's from Naples, and he was a big cook when we grew up in the north of England. We ate very exotic foods for the time. And you can write a book about Italy and not include delicious food, because all Italians are obsessed with eating well, so...
Well, what about any movie deals? Because you've written some fantastic novels, and I know a lot of people love your work. NickyPellegrino.com if you want to check out any more of the titles. But have you had any movie nibbles?
No, not so far. And obviously a movie would be fantastic because it takes your work to a bigger audience. But I've actually seen a lot of films of books I loved and hated the film. So it's got to be a really great movie, hasn't it? Otherwise it's disappointing.
Yeah,
nice work.
Good point, valid point. Well, I'm looking forward to your next book, which will see you back to Italy for some more research. So enjoy that trip.
Thank you.